Hey everyone! In today's episode, we're going to go over the installation of the BMS badge heavy duty bumper on a GMC Sierra F4X. Let's go! To install the new bumper, we first need to remove the old one. Technically, the bumper should be removed from the top. So, we need to disassemble the entire mask, remove the grille, and take off the upper plastic part. But believe me, even though this is according to the manual, it's a hassle that will do it a bit differently. You can easily reach the lower bolts from underneath and unscrew the power bumper. This will save a good amount of time. Let's call it a little technical life hack. The reason why everyone replaces the bumper on the Silverado and Sierra is actually very simple. There's a pretty large overhang here. And as you can see here, the lower part is damaged. When you're off-roading, especially if you go into the desert, during a climb over a dune or a sharp descent, the lower part catches because it sticks out too much and it breaks. So basically, we probably haven't installed a single bumper on a truck that didn't already have damage. Even trucks with just 1,000 or 2 miles on them still came in with a broken bumper. That's why replacing the bumper really solves the problem in a big way. You can see that all the brackets are bent or broken. The plastic is out of place. To remove the front bumper, the main metal part, we need to unscrew it. These bolts right here. Technically, they're supposed to be unscrewed from the top, but that's really inconvenient and pretty hard to do. It's much easier to get in from underneath and unscrew them from there. Let's start the disassembly, and from there we'll see how it goes. We unscrewed small brackets. Now we're unscrewing bumper support. Brackets on side. And these ones, we unscrew directly from the frame rail. We go in from the back side. And let's go. Same process on the other side. And basically, we can take it off now. We pull the bumper and then unplug it. Alright, we've removed the bumper. Now we'll clear out everything unnecessary and start installing the new bumper. We've got an interesting situation here. For some reason, the hinges are positioned like this, really hoping it's not the frame rail. Now we need to remove all the extra brackets. The ones that won't stay on the car. But judging by the looks of it, something went wrong here. They towed the car thoroughly. On 9 out of 10 cars, these spots are slightly damaged. And sometimes this edge needs to be sharpened. Not always, but it happens, so the corner gets trimmed a bit. We've removed everything unnecessary. We need to straighten the skid plate a bit. We'll take care of that a little later. Let's start unpacking the new product. The bumper comes in this kind of packaging. Carefully open it up. There are many layers of protective material. An important point when unpacking is not to cut too deep, because you could damage the paint coating on the product. So we go step by step, carefully. Unwrapping, first removing the film, then taking off the cardboard. After that, the bumper remains in this kind of soft material. The set includes two 10-inch headlights, AURORA ones, but we'll come back to them a bit later. Let's remove all of this stuff. All of this protects the corners, edges, and protruding parts so that the product arrives safe and sound during transport. The front part is covered with compressed cardboard. In front of you is the GMC Sierra badge design bumper. It's made of aluminum. It has a tubular frame. Just for a second, it weighs only 24 kilograms. Here's the front section. These are spots for installing additional lighting. This is the spot for mounting the license plate. And it comes with these kinds of pieces. These are plugs for installing parking sensors. The vehicle we're installing this on does have parking sensors, so we don't need these plugs. If we didn't have parking sensors, we would have kept them. There's also the case where some vehicles come with active cruise control systems, and in their stock bumper, there's a LiDAR sensor installed. We haven't come across such vehicles yet, but we know they exist in certain trims. But so far, we haven't encountered them on these vehicles. Where it's located in the front bumper, it can't function behind plastic. It needs to be relocated behind the radiator grille on brackets, and we do this on other vehicles. It's not difficult at all, but it's something to keep in mind. Before installation, we'll now finish disassembling the bumper. First, the frame is installed, and then all the attachments are assembled. We've removed everything unnecessary. Next, we need to install the frame, onto which everything else will be mounted. Preliminarily secure. What's included in the kit? This is a kit for installing protection and parking sensors. Here we have some additional components. The bolts for mounting the bumper itself. These are the power brackets that attach the bumper at the edges, and the gap is adjusted. But we'll go over everything step by step. M10 long ones. We use oversized washers on all the bolts. These are for installing the bumper. They go right here. From the back side, we use oversized washers and hand tighten the nuts. Press it slightly upward and gently tighten. The bumper is mounted to all the main factory structural points. The mount for the stock bumper, mount for the reinforced bar applies to the ZR2 and other models. This trim level lacks it. It connects the front crossmember and acts as an additional reinforcement. Considering that the entire central part is well secured, the outer section is quite long. That's how it turned out. Plus, it's aluminum, so it's not that strong. That's why we need to use these kinds of brackets, which are installed in the same spots where the factory gussets were. They support the side of the bumper and the bumper's edge. We secure them in place. Right now, we're just loosely attaching them, and the final fastening will be done once the car is back on its wheels. There's a very important point when installing a heavy-duty bumper. You can only adjust the gap when the vehicle is on its wheels. All modern off-road vehicles have a spring frame, and when you lift the vehicle on a hoist, it bends, and the gap here becomes larger. If you set the gap while the vehicle is on the lift, once you lower it back onto its wheels, the gap will change, and you'll have to redo everything. That's why you first loosely attach everything, and then do the final adjustment. After all the mechanical work is done, we move on to the electrical part. For that, we need to remove the parking sensors and the factory wiring harness from the original bumper. We take out the wiring from the stock bumper. Attach fog lights. the parking sensors. Again, we removed the factory harness using some handy DIY tricks. Technically, you're supposed to do everything properly here, like take all this apart, unscrew 150 bolts to carefully remove it from the other side. But you can actually do it from this side. We won't need these clips anymore anyway. We'll remove them a bit later, and that's going to save us a while. The most interesting part now is disconnecting the parking sensors. We don't need to disconnect the connectors, we need to remove the sensors directly. So, we won't need the clips anymore, which is why we're removing them right away. The kit includes two 10-inch AURORA lights. We're installing them now. Important point, the light isn't symmetrical and the LEDs are over there. So we don't recommend installing it like this, it won't look good. So you install it like this, with the LEDs on top. Alright, one click. Then we secure it with the second bolt. Later, you can adjust it as needed. Here, the liners are made of fabric, and we need to give a more suitable shape for the new bumper. Therefore, this is all done very simply, in a straightforward manner. We just take a utility knife and cut along the shape of the body. We trim it. We've cut the fender liners, but we need to make an additional mount so the liner doesn't flap around like a sail in the wind. There's a great bolt right here that works well for this. We take a hammer, give it a hit, move the liner aside, and we can see the mark where the bolt is. We make a 6mm hole, or 7mm, whatever works for you. We unscrew the bolt. Looks like something went wrong here. We need to give the guard a bit more of a factory shape. Just a little adjustment. The mechanical part is all done. Now we need to do the electrical work, specifically reinstall the parking sensors and connect the new fog lights. But I'm not much of an expert in electrical work, so to avoid giving the guys extra trouble, we'll bring in someone specially trained. Basically, we just need to replace the connectors on the fog lights, everything else will be connected as per the factory setup. We removed the original fog light connectors and replaced them with connectors for the new AURORA lamps. Now we're reinstalling everything and connecting it back up. For installing the sensors, we developed special brackets that work like a brace and are screwed in with a bolt. You simply remove the sensors from the original bumper and install them into the new one. The next step is after installing the sensors into the front trim piece. We're putting the trim piece back in place. And after that, we will then connect directly to the harness. An important point to keep in mind is that the trim piece is aluminum and very long, so it needs to be screwed in and tightened from the center outward to avoid deformation. Because if you tighten it from the edge first and then move to the center, it might cause a wave or bend. So it's better to start from the middle. The light is installed, the sensors are in place. The final step is adjusting the lamps and connecting the wiring. The electrical work is done. As you may have noticed, everything is straightforward, nothing particularly fancy. Basically, everything connects very simply and logically. The pre-final step is the installation of the first skid plate. It is also made of approximately 6 mm thick aluminum. We carefully install and lower the machine to adjust the factory gap precisely, ensuring optimal performance. The new skid plate goes under the bolts. Alright, 1. Make sure. Not under the skid plate, but on this side, so that when you hit an obstacle, it creates a sliding effect. And then we fasten it directly to the bumper. After installation, we get a large flat plate that helps us slide over any obstacle and tackle steep slopes. The factory tow hooks remain in place so the vehicle can still be towed. And there's also additional lighting. That's it. Now we just need to lower the car onto its wheels, check the lighting system, make sure the sensors are working, and adjust the clearance. So, due to the fact that this part is made of aluminum and has a sufficiently large lever, it is subjected to load. That is, you load it to minimize the gap and tighten the lower bolts. The bracket is very rigid, so this angle is locked in place firmly. Here, we're basically doing the same thing. This is how we do it for greater precision, so that the cut is smooth and beautiful. After assembling the car, we make sure to check everything to ensure all systems are working, as they should be. We check the lights are working, and most importantly, we check whether the parking sensors are working. We drive up to an obstacle. And here we can see it started. The sensors are activating. A warning was triggered in the form of vibration on the driver's seat and a red zone alert. We back up. And the distance increases. And that's it. With that, the installation is complete. Right now we're washing the car and preparing it for delivery to the owner. So, what's in today's episode? We reviewed the entire process of installing the new front bumper from Badgia design by BMS on the GMC Sierra at 4X in a comprehensive manner. It also fits other trims like the Denali or Ultimate. The bumper is made of aluminum, preventing the installation of a winch. It's perfect for high-speed off-roading, rallying, desert trips, and so on. The installation process is as simple as possible, requiring no major modifications, as you saw. You can install it yourself, but we still recommend going to professionals. If you're interested in this product, follow the links in the description and add it to your cart. We can ship it anywhere in the world. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and we'll see you in the next episode.